Sometimes spring, you can just feel it when a game isn't going to go your way, when you don't have it, when you are too sloppy, when the other goaltender is better than your goaltender on a given night. And on the first of a 4 game road trip, what we thought was probably the most gettable game outside of the Nashville game to end it, the Avs pretty much get outplayed for 60 minutes for the first time all season. It was the first time the entire year that I felt like they didn't possess the puck way more than the other team. And that's including the 6 overtime losses that they've had this year. The Islanders were the best team on the ice this evening. And it's just flat out true.
And yet, they almost got back in this thing. And they didn't even play that well. And they cut it to 4-2. When it was 4-0, I was like, yeah, okay, here it is. Then it was 4-2, and then again it's 5-2. Barzal on the power play. Okay, yeah, it's over. Hey, early third period goal. Hey, a 2-goal deficit. You give them a full period. And they didn't play nowhere near their best, but yet they were in it. And here's the thing. Second regulation loss of the season, both on the road. Pretty solid Eastern Conference opponents that you're playing. I know Boston, whatever. They're actually having a decent little season. So are the Islanders. And second regulation loss, like, it was just a matter of time. When you're that good, when the start is that good, and it's early December, you're counting down the clock. You really are on borrowed time for when you are going to pick up your second regulation loss of the season. It was going to come on this 4-game roadie. They got it out of the way. Hey, Mackenzie Blackwood didn't have his best game. I do wonder, and the Avs don't play their best, but that Pelech goal that made it 4-0, that's it's one of the worst goals that has been that a Avs goalie has allowed this season. Really, I think Blackwood maybe his second start against Buffalo, he had a leaky one,
or something like that.
That was bad. And hey, you don't allow that. It's 4-3. Maybe things change. Whatever. Okay, second regulation loss. Move on. It's all good. Hey, the world is not imploding. The sky is not falling. This is their second regulation loss. It's December 4th. Every team will put up efforts like the Avalanche did tonight. Even the elite will do it eventually. Tonight was their eventually.
It's certainly not the end of the world. I simply wasn't expecting them to be outplayed for the vast majority of the hockey game. I was not expecting it to go down. Saying it goes down in flames, it feels a little overreactionary this evening, but it was a game in which you got skated out of the building. I thought they were like the Barzal backhand goal. I've never seen Jack Drury get danced like that in his time with the Avalanche. Like it was really, really bad.
Yeah.
I thought the turnovers in the middle of the ice for Colorado in their own zone most of the time by their forwards were really bad. They simply were a bad hockey team tonight, man. And you're gonna lose games to borderline playoff teams like the New York Islanders are at this point when you play flat out bad. The other thing that sucks is while they've been historically great to start the year, the one thing that hasn't gone well is the power play. And what let you down yet again when you were down by 2 halfway through the third, you get the power play off of the Schaefer delay of game, and you, for half of the power play, don't do anything. There's a grade A scoring opportunity coming back your way. New York, I was going to say New England. New York rags the puck. And at that point where you could have made it a 1-goal game with like 8 minutes to go in the third period, you're still trailing by 2. Now, you dominated possession on the 6-on-4 after you get the tripping call at the end in that 3-minute, 30-second scenario. But it's going to come back and bite you if you don't fix out the power play. You can only win
Yeah.
so many games when you dominate 5-on-5. Eventually, you're going to have the power play bail you out. And tonight was one of the ones where you needed it to happen, and it was more of the same for the extra man unit. And lo and
No doubt.
behold, Spring, who does it come against? Who's on the bench? You know who the power play coach is for the New York Islanders?
No way. Is
Ray
it really?
Bennett. Ray Bennett.
Wow. I had was he a WA guy? Does he predate Bednar?
No, he came on either the year Bednar started or the year after Bednar started.
Yeah, that's what I
2017 or
thought.
2018.
But
He's
obviously
not a WA
Bednar
guy.
takes over for WA. I assume like Bednar didn't even have time to assemble a coaching staff, right? It was kind of just like, here you go. That's hilarious, though. Oh man. Hey, Ray Bennett wasn't the problem. And that's another, like, you guys, not all of you. In fact,
it
the
was
vast
me.
majority.
I was the one screaming about it. Hand to God, man. I was screaming about fire Ray Bennett. I was.
Well, you got to blame. And the power play did peter off. There's no doubt about it. Hadn't gotten any better this season. Now, I do like that they're back to the old setup. I really do think with Landeskog out there, and, Landeskog hasn't been on power play once since 2022. I think it's just now I really am on the side of it's just a matter of time. But yeah, it hurts you tonight. You could have made this a 1-goal game in the third if you do anything. They didn't do anything on that power play. And New York, I thought that they played, this is what the Islanders do. It's what a good chunk of the teams in this league do. Like the Avalanche play that very pretty brand of hockey. The Islanders will just clog up the neutral zone, make it tough on you. Layers of defense in front of Ilya Sorokin, who's a very good goaltender. It's a defense-first mindset. The opening goal of this game I know a lot of people were upset thinking it was goaltender interference, that it should have been overturned. To me, I actually agree with upholding the call on the ice. I
don't turn it over either.
I thought the stick that got under Blackwood was the stick that was there because there was a loose puck. And when there's a loose puck in the crease, you're allowed to jam your stick in to try to shove that thing in, to shuffleboard that thing in. And so, yeah, it catches up with Blackwood. But guess what? That was a fair play to try to poke the loose puck in. I agree with the call on the ice, but it was kind of a tone setter. That was the start of what was ultimately the result tonight.
Yeah, it just felt like you didn't have it. It felt as though it was. Is it a little bit of a hangover for the team still getting over this flu that's kind of going through the roster, and then pairing that with having to fly across the country? Maybe it also could just be the fact that in an 82-game season, you're going to lose hockey games, and sometimes you're going to look like a bag of crap when you lose hockey games.
Yeah.
And today was one of them. And it's not to say that they're not still the best team in the league. They are. It hurts a little bit when you look in the rearview mirror and Dallas is still charging hard because you've been historically great, and Dallas has been a shade shy of what you.
I was going to bring up this comment here. Real talk, though, if our run had us pull further away from Dallas, this wouldn't bother me as much. Like that's kind of the catch-22 about this is only one regulation loss, now 2 regulation losses. But what is it? 3 points? Yeah, you're just 3 points ahead of Dallas. Like, how? They have a plus 50 goal differential. Dallas has a very nice plus 24. The Avs have plus 50, and they're only 3 points ahead. That's the frustrating part.
Because the 2 best teams in the National Hockey League occupy the Central Division.
It really is a Dems the break situation.
Like she goes.
It's unfortunate, but
you know what sucks for the Nuggets? Oklahoma City's in the Northwest.
Yeah. So it makes a second regulation loss of the season in December feel like, oh gosh, now Dallas is going to catch us, which sucks. Like, that's stupid. That shouldn't be the case, but it is.
You do have a game in hand, which helps, but as of right now, it doesn't look like Dallas is dropping a game anytime soon. They're playing wonderfully. the Avs are fine. They're fine.
Of
Maybe, and
course.
I put up the comment from Guru, like a little bit of humility might be a good thing. Getting kicked in the teeth might be a good thing as compared to what I thought their next regulation loss was going to be. I thought their next regulation loss was going to be much like the game against Boston, where you come back and you go, "We had the puck the whole fucking game. How did we lose?" Where you can kind of explain it away of like sometimes you just don't score. I guess 20 minutes after this loss has gone through me, I like the idea of losing a game because you were the worst of the two teams on the ice.
That was going to happen 2 months into the season. Like, you will have, I don't care how good you are, you are going to have one of those. And tonight was the one. And again, they actually kind of got back into this game. Stupidly enough, they actually gave themselves a puncher's chance. Now, Nathan MacKinnon did have 6 shots on goal, but it didn't feel like the best Nate night. He wasn't overly dangerous. Makar is a -2. He only had 2 shots on goal. Like, you needed your 2 studs to kind of take this game over, and they just never were really able to. It was Nichushkin's second game back. As the game went on, you saw his ice time increase. He did have a tip-in goal. Sam Alinsky gets another shot through. It's another encouragement. Now, look, you mentioned Jack Drury. Now, Jack Drury, good in the face-off circle again, wins 8 of 13. Didn't have a single shot on goal. Jack has kind of regressed, but he was playing so well. So when I say regressed, it's like, okay, was he out kicking his coverage? I mean, we're talking about these lesser heralded players who are really stepping up a couple weeks ago. Drury was one of them. Hasn't been much of a factor, but should that not be expected that a player like that would kind of go through a lull?
Yeah, it should be expected. I think it also coincides with him losing a really talented player on his wing. Look who's not playing alongside him anymore. It's Gabe Landeskog.
Sure.
And I know Gabe wasn't playing like he is right now. He was still getting back into it. But having that presence on your wing certainly helps a guy who's a career bottom 6 player. And that's not to slap Jack Drury in the face. Like, bottom 6 players, you have to have great role players to win cups. We saw that in 2022. And speaking of the bottom 6, I think a loss like this, a game like this, allows us to sober up a little bit and look at the time on ice and look at what they're missing right now. It's very clear Jared Bednar is only comfortable playing about 3.5 lines, maybe even 3 lines at any given time. And it hasn't mattered because they've been so dominant with those 3 lines for the first 25 games of the season. Zakhar Bardakov played 5 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Joel Kiviranta played south of 9 minutes. I think he's looking at this roster and going, I really want Logan O'Connor back. I really want Gavin Brindley back. And maybe a game like this in the future when you are getting 8 to 10 minutes out of your fourth liners rather than an average of about 6 or 7. Those extra 2, 3, 4 shifts really do matter in the long run to make sure that you can get the matchups that you want on the road when you don't have full control of the last change away from Ball Arena.
And Brindley did make the trip with the team out east. It's very possible he plays at some point on this road trip. I thought Landeskog had a very good game.
Yeah.
And he got, when they went down 4-0, you started to see Landy and Nate playing together for a handful of shifts. And then in the third period, they did kind of get back to what they were doing. Landeskog was more on that second line, but you did see some of him on the top line. I thought, look, I'll call it like I see it. And I mentioned it with Jack Drury. I think Ross Colton had a good game tonight. He was a -2. He plays 12.5 minutes. He had a turnover. It was his turnover. Now, the Pelech shot that beats Blackwood, that needs to be saved.
Yes.
But it's a turnover. It's a really lazy, weird kind of clear out attempt from Ross on the end boards in the middle of the D zone. Whiffed on it, keeps the puck in the zone. I didn't think Ross Colton had his best game. It's going to happen. That's going to happen. Ross is a very good player. He's not a great player. Drury's been out kicking his coverage just a little bit. That's going to happen. And again, you needed Makar and MacKinnon to kind of assert themselves. And you better believe that with how well, if you don't think that the rest of the NHL has taken note of what the Avs are doing, I mean, they all knew coming into the season they were very good, but then they see what they're actually doing. Well, what's the game plan? We have got to slow down 29-8. That's what we are going to do. And they did that tonight. Mission accomplished. They slowed down 29-8.
The one thing that I'm looking at, man, is Cale Makar currently sits at 14th in the NHL, far and away the highest scoring defenseman in the league, with what is it? 30, does he have 32 points right now? Something like that. 32 points and a plus 29. So still
Unbelievable overall.
Running toward his Conn Smythe. He's only shooting 11% right now. It feels, and
he's hit a few posts this year.
He's missed a billion nets. A billion nets. I'm going to take a look into his stats tonight before I go on the morning sprint tomorrow and see how many nets he's missed on his shot attempts. It has to be, for a guy that's in the top 30 in the league in points, I bet you he has the most missed nets out of anyone.
That sounds right.
Percentage. He's still scoring at a high clip.
Yeah.
Like he's still on pace for a 30-goal season.
But look at like Malinsky, who puts pucks on net and gets rebounds. Burns. And I know Makar can snipe. And he can pick those corners, and that seems like what he is trying to do. But there is something to be said about just putting it on the goaltender from deep, which is where Cale plays. Sometimes it feels like he's a forward. He's not. And letting, the boys in front clean it up. So maybe just a little too fine, trying to be a little too fine so far this season from Cale Makar, which, hey, I don't blame him. He can, like I said, he can pick corners. He's that good. But maybe something you could look at.
I'll take a peek at that tomorrow, but that's one thing that I'm missing is you needed one of your heroes to come up tonight. And we talked about it 2 evenings ago. Nathan MacKinnon has more 2-point games than he does 1 or 0-point games. And now he adds 1 to the 0 and 1 column. Now it's, I believe, 14 and 13 respectively. So he's got to get back on that multi-point horse when they go on the road to Madison Square Garden coming up on Saturday. I say that thing about Makar missing the net, but like he also is the main reason why the Avs have a fighting chance down 2 at the end, because he makes that little look off pass from the slot to Artturi Lehkonen to make it 5-3. He's still doing great things. Like MacKinnon, despite not scoring, is still driving offense in this game. He is, I think he was the 3rd best player in expected goals for at 5-on-5 for the Avs. Like he wasn't elite, but he's still doing things with the puck. You feel a little deflated today, and that's okay.
Yeah, here's another player too, kind of looking at the box score and like, oh yeah, he didn't do much either. Notice him just the tick out there. That's Victor Olofsson. No points in his last 4 games, and just 1 assist in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. 1 point in 8 games for Victor Olofsson. Look, he's another streaky player. He was snake bitten to start the season, but now it doesn't feel like he's even getting near enough shots on goal of late. So you needed that extra. Drury, Olofsson, Colton, all off nights. They contain their 2 top stars. That's a recipe. And with Blackwood allowing a goal that, that was just absolutely egregious. But here's the thing, okay, and I want to point this out too. This is the type of stuff I look at. So let's see. The entire East Coast NHL slate is, the 5 p.m. games are all done. There was one that started at like 5:30. That's the Jackets hosting the Red Wings. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about to be 7 East Coast games wrapping up. 6 have already wrapped up. Okay. Of the 6 NHL games that have concluded tonight, you know how many underdogs won in the first 6 games? 6.
Huh.
We're about to go 7-7. The Red Wings are about to go into Columbus and win. Look, it's parity league. It's a parity league. And I don't care how good you are. And I know, but over the larger sample size, like, yeah, Colorado and Dallas are going to pull away. But on a night-to-night basis, look at the division. We talked about this. Look at the division that the Islanders are in, the Metro. That thing is clogged as shit. There's a lot of solid teams. And then there's a few great teams. But on any given night, these solid teams can show up. And we're about to see 7 out of the first 7 games tonight see the underdog win. The favorites are going to lose. It's parity league, even though there are different elements in which there are better teams at the end of the day. Tonight, that means something to me. When Columbus just scored. But first 6, I mean, that's you don't see that often. Lots of good losing at home tonight. I mean, it is a weird night in the NHL.
Weird night. And, again, tonight was the first night that the Avs felt like the Nuggets in terms of I'm bored playing against this team or I'm bored winning and I'm going to let it affect my actual result tonight. Because we've seen them kind of play with their food this year and come away with wins. Because eventually it's time to turn it on. We've got the puck the whole game and it's okay. We'll just hold you off like Big Brother at arm's length. While the Nuggets we've seen play some bad teams or some very middling teams. You think back to the Chicago loss that they had, the Sacramento loss that they've had this year, where the Nuggets will get bored with a game and it will get away from them. This was the first time where Colorado looked bored from the onset and the game very quickly got away from them. Again, not trying to slap the Nuggets in the face. Nuggets are still a very good team. I think they're the second best team in the NBA behind Oklahoma City, and they'll have a puncher's chance without a doubt going into the Western Conference Final this year. It's just the differences between the two to start the year for me with the Avs and the Nuggets in the same building.
They did look bored tonight. They looked bored.
They looked a little bored.
And that's going to happen, I mean, the sense does come in like, okay, we're 19-1-6 now. Unfortunately, 19-2-6. But we're 19-1-6. Okay, have we not proven ourselves? When do the playoffs start? Oh wait, we have to play how many more of these things? Good God! And every single team is going to give us their best effort now because they're all fighting for something. And yeah, we're trying to keep pace ahead of Dallas, but it's not the same carrot. Like you've really got to be elite and care. When the message is we've got to hold off the Dallas Stars and we have 44 points on the season already. And yeah. And the fact they've responded to that is huge, but that's tough to just keep that motivation night in, night out of like, oh, I got to keep pace with Dallas. It's going to keep pace with Dallas. Like sooner or later, you're just going to be like, fuck this.
I think the other thing that may play into this is Colorado has been the talk of the town for the NHL for the last 2 months, right? Like it's the only thing people can talk about is how freaking good Colorado is. Therefore, when you're playing against them, there is that chip on your shoulder of like, oh, like we're a National Hockey League team too. Like I get paid to lace up my skates just like Nathan MacKinnon does. And it's going to piss you off a little bit. And even more so when they're on a historic run in terms of regulation losses that has now ended, or a historic run in terms of franchise games with a point now that ends at 17, falls 2 games shy of what they did in 21-22. I think that feeds into the fire for your opponent. It's another way that I think a loss like this to New York could kind of take the target off your back just a little bit, because not every team that you come up against is going to be like, hey, we're the team that's going to put a stop to it. We are the team where the streak ends. That might help you out.
And also to go back to, you were talking about the Nuggets and, lost to the Kings, the Mavericks, even though like Anthony Davis, when he's healthy, is good. And Cooper Flag does appear to be the real deal. Like I said after the Vancouver game, like, no, like there is a real where there was no realistic world where Vancouver would win that game. And that's true. And that's how it played out. New York's better than Vancouver.
You said it after the Vancouver game. You were like, you're going to lose one of these. I think the one that you were talking about
I was kind of maybe looking at the Flyers game. Some of that was how the Rangers have been poor at home, even though they did just beat the Stars in overtime, albeit at home. They're finally had a good home game. They've been playing so well that I maybe didn't think this would be the one, but I knew it was possible. Like there was one where this is one where it was like, yeah, if they lose this game, okay, I could see it. And part of the reason, and he didn't have his best game tonight, but drafting Matthew Schaefer number 1 overall like changed the complexion of this team.
Holy shit, is he so good, man?
Like now they actually have something going with a decent, solid veteran group, but then you add that talent. Okay, now you're doing something. There's a reason they won 6 of 7 on the road recently. Like that absolutely opened my eyes.
Oh yeah, we talked about that wild stretch. They were playing the heavy hitters of the league.
Yep. And they look great. And so this isn't losing to, and granted, there's really only, this league is, even the Buffalo Sabres have gotten it going. I mean, the Panthers are in last place in the East. The Flames and the Canucks and the Predators went into Florida and won. The Flames and Canucks, like after that, there's no rollover. There's no gimme in this league. That's how bad the Canucks are, man. That's
sad.
How
bad. That is how uninterested in playing hockey the Vancouver Canucks are, man. It is sad. It is so obvious Quinn Hughes is done playing there. It's so obvious he doesn't want to be anywhere near Elias Pettersson. It's a shame because I think Adam Foote can be a really good coach in this league, and it sucks that they're gonna have to give away their franchise defenseman for way less than what you should get for a franchise defenseman. The second best in terms of puck moving and point producing D-men in the league in Quinn Hughes. They're going to have to give him up for hardly anything because they know, and the rest of the league knows, that dude ain't signing here. He ain't doing that.
They're actually trending towards being the worst team in the league because, hey, I know it's not Dallas, and there's no way this team catches Colorado, but second period, Calgary just took a 1-0 lead over the Wild.
You know why? Because they're playing in their blasty uniforms, man. Those awesome flaming horsehead black uniforms. That's why.
Ooh. And it's no Volstead. It's Gustafsson, who's still good.
How much does
it
go?
Even Calgary, got a 1-0 lead over Minnesota. Now over the long term, Minnesota is going to be much better than Calgary. They might come back and win this game. Over the long term, Colorado is going to be better than the Islanders, but sometimes that's what happens.
How much does it suck for Gustafsson that a rookie goaltender on his own team is about to take his starting spot in the Olympics? Because Gustafsson was pretty much the write-in to start the Olympics for Sweden, and there's a small chance he doesn't even make the team now.
Well, it's where you got to step up to the plate and be a good team guy.
5 shutouts in his last 8 games.
Yeah, including in the one in Edmonton, 1-0. I mean, that's impressive. Edmonton can still score.
Yeah, you lose hockey games. Way she goes. It's a bummer, man. I didn't like how it felt, and I'd like to sit here and say they're going to turn around and beat the Rangers on Saturday in the middle of the day, but I have no idea. For the first time all season, I have no clue how this game is going to go on Saturday, because I haven't seen the Avalanche have to respond after a game in which they were, without a doubt, the worst team on the ice. We're going to see it for the first time this season. How do they respond?
Yeah, we'll see who starts in net. I mean, it won't be Trent Miner. There's no way it's Trent Miner, even though he was the backup tonight, but they brought 3 goaltenders on the trip. They did bring Wedgwood. So it'll either be Blackwood or Wedgwood if Wedgwood's back is ready on Saturday in the Garden, but it won't be Trent Miner. If he starts, that would be the Philly game. You go, because the Rangers are coming off their best win of the season against the Stars, and that's another thing I want to say. Dallas will drop at least one game this season.
Yeah. Then
this, maybe they shouldn't
look like your loss tonight. Dallas will have a loss where you go out and how do they lose 5-1 to San Jose?
Yeah,
there's something like that's going to happen.
In fact, that's who's next for Dallas is San Jose. And San Jose's plucky. Every team in this league is plucky in a way, except for the Vancouver Canucks and kind of the Calgary Flames, who are beating the Wild tonight. And then the Avs looked like $1 million against this up and coming Stars team, or excuse me, Sharks team. Beat them 6-0. The Ducks were looking so good, stomped them out. But then they lose tonight, to a above-ish average team. Dallas is going to do the same thing. Give it a week, give it 2. Just like you said, whether it's San Jose or whoever, someone is going to beat Dallas, and you're going to be able to say, okay, it evened itself out. You got one back via what happened to Dallas.
All right, Spring, 10:30 a.m. game on Saturday, 10 a.m. pregame show on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 with Connor McGahee. Spring and I will have a Between the Pipes on Saturday at like 1 p.m.
Hell yeah,
That's
we're going
kinda
head-to-head
cool.
with the SEC championship game, baby.
Yeah, you watch us instead of Alabama and Georgia. You better do that. 1 p.m. is where you guys can find us on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter as well after the Avs take on the Rangers. Right around the same time on Sunday, we will go live and we'll be able to preview a little bit of the Broncos game. They don't play until 2, so Spring and I will go live at about 1:30. We'll do a quick little half hour Between the Pipes at 1:30 on Sunday, and then we'll get off right as kick comes from Vegas as the 10-2 Broncos face the 2-10 Vegas Raiders. But for the second time all season long, and for the first time in like how many games?
When was the Boston game? It was
the-
like the second week of the season.
I think the first time in 18 games, the Avs lose in regulation 6-3 to the Islanders. It sucked. They sucked. It'll be fine. They're still the best team in the league.
Yeah,
Spring,
100%.
I'll see you Saturday.
Let's talk Saturday.